Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks. Hello, and welcome to this interview. I am back for interview number 9 with Anita. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you.
Yeah, so excited to talk to you today. Let's start here. What's awesome?
What's awesome is my dog is healthy. We had a little scare a few days ago and wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, but he is A-okay. He's back to his normal, happy self and having healthy poops.
That is awesome. Oh,
yes.
It's so important. I'm so glad.
It is. He's my baby.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Also, I'm getting paid to stay at home.
Yes.
More often than not, it seems these days.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I made 25% more on a lease agreement that I did privately outside of Airbnb.
Awesome. Yay.
Yes.
That's fabulous. Money, 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 which brings me to this question. What's your manifested total as of right now?
My manifested total as of now is $154,738.07.
Yay. Did you ever think it would be that high?
No, not, I started a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
I could have imagined maybe like 20.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool.
Yay. Oh, that's awesome. And there's so much that comes with that, which is, I'm going to ask this next question. What is your biggest aha or growth since the last interview that we did?
I think I've just figured out what is not inspiration, finally. I know it now. I know to ask myself, like, how does this feel? Does this feel good? Does this feel like I can't not do it? I'm trying less and observing more.
Oh, yay. That's awesome. And we were talking before the interview started, and you said you've had a lot of opportunities to really say no to things that aren't inspired lately, right?
Yes, tons.
That's awesome. And in the past, what would you have done?
Figured out how I could make each opportunity work.
How does it feel to not be doing that? Like, do you miss that a little bit? Is it like, oh,
No.
This is so much easier? No.
I don't miss it.
Oh, good.
No.
Yay.
I'm feeling much less stressed out.
I love it. Yeah, we were talking about before how calm you've been.
Yeah, like almost to a scary point that I'm like, am I okay mentally? Because I'm not used to this. I just feel like very like spacey and good.
Good. Yeah, that absence of all of that other stuff going on in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
And realizing there's so much more time for everything than I gave myself prior.
Oh, tell us more about that, because that is huge. And it's really big when you realize, like, oh, what was I doing? Or at least that's what it felt like to me. Like, all that time I was busy, what was I doing? Because
yeah. Yeah, I guess my head was just in the past filled with to-dos and just feeling like I needed to do so many things in a day, and there wasn't any time to take a break. I had to be productive all the time. Yeah. And I'm starting to see that not everything has to be done right away. Like, I can wait. I can give myself space. And if it doesn't feel good, I don't have to do 90% of the things on the list.
That is a big realization.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 90%. I would bet that that is true for most people when they start to get in this place. I know it was for me. Like, again, I literally was like, what were you doing? Which is that 90%. 90% of all the things I was doing was just keeping me busy and thinking I was moving forward and trying to move forward and pushing moving forward, but it wasn't really moving me forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really powerful to let go of a lot of the stuff and not feel like I'm a disaster if I'm not doing all the time.
That's amazing. And it sounds like nothing's like getting dropped. Like it's not like all these balls are getting dropped, right?
No.
Yeah.
In fact, I probably feel more on top of things than ever.
Amazing. How does that feel?
Good. Just powerful.
Yeah. I love that. Has there been any coaching that I've given you or someone else recently that has really made things click?
I think you can remind me if there was something we talked about before the call, but I think just the inspiration. I'm understanding what isn't inspired.
That's awesome. And that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I love this evolution because it's so big for you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So much has changed in a year and a half.
Yeah. Oh. What do you think is the biggest change looking back from a year and a half to now? Not just since our last interview. Obviously, the inspiration has definitely changed. What else is really big that's different? Which honestly, we might have already talked about it in the call. After I asked the question, I'm like, we just talked about that. It's probably how little her to-do list is and how little you're pushing and trying now versus just being and really being okay with, oh, I'm getting paid to stay at home for work. Because I don't think when you started like that, it wouldn't have... it would have been a nice idea, but I almost don't think you would have let yourself manifest that. You would have had to been going to work and pushing through and doing all that. Would you agree with that?
Yes. I feel like I probably only saw the opportunity for more money to come in through another business venture.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you even laugh at that now because there's been a couple and now you're like, no, it just comes everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I get little hits of ideas all the time and I'm shutting them down quickly now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Creating space for if there is a really big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've also changed by knowing for a fact that more money is coming in.
Yes.
Like I see it in so many different ways that I can open myself up to more and more possibilities all the time.
Yes. I love that. And it's so true. And you can't get there instantly. Like we couldn't have got you there in the first 30 days. Those are the type of things that come with building that muscle and keeping your manifested, like continuing to do the work on an all the time basis, right? Yeah. Then you start to lean into that. Well, I have all this evidence that money's coming. Like I can just sit back and allow it to come.
Yeah, it's been fun because I watch it come in and I'm like, okay, that's coming in. I don't need to stress out. More is coming in different ways. And I've figured out that I did a little math that I'm going to be making $15.50 more a month, not $15.50, $1,550 more a month next April by doing nothing differently.
Yes, that's amazing.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
That's crazy.
It is so awesome. And And I love, so this started, and I don't remember if we talked about this in the last interview or not, but you were inspired one day, totally believe because of the way the whole story unfolded, inspired to just sort of add up all these things like, oh, I'll raise, the rent will naturally go up this much. I'm going to get a raise at work. And you had all these things that came into this $1,000 total.
Yes.
And then now it's totally happening. And tell us about your houses and refinancing.
Yeah, I was toying with the idea of selling one of my rental properties and getting the cash out and putting money towards our house here and doing all that. But then I'd be out a really good investment and the money would go quick. So I decided I'm going to keep it instead. I'm going to fix it up. It now has a new exterior paint job. The fence is painted, a bunch of other little upgrades to make it nicer. And I decided to look into a refinance for that house. I found out that I can save $350 a month there, which then led to the inspiration to look at refinancing my primary house. And turns out that that is happening too.
Amazing.
And that's going to be $200 a month saved. So it just, I don't know, it just kind of came up as inspiration. And I used to kick myself for not refinancing before I moved out of that house. And now I get it. Like now I understand why I didn't do it.
Yes. Oh, and how does it feel to understand and sort of, instead of in your words, like kick yourself? Yeah. How does that change the way you see it and how you'll change things, seeing things going forward?
I will kick myself less for things because there is a reason that I cannot see possibly for a couple years.
Right.
And then it'll show up. And it's like, had I refinanced then, I never would have saved as much per month.
Absolutely.
For various reasons. But yeah. I'm so happy.
Oh, yay. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have way more faith and trust now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And I actually, as you were talking about the refinance, I remembered what was actually probably your biggest coaching and lesson in the last months. And that has to do with the person, your new neighbor at your investment property. Can we talk about that?
I mean, yeah, I'll try to like make it short. Just kind of a convoluted story, but I have this property that has a full-size volleyball court in the back. Half of it is on my property, half of it is on my neighbor's property. I had a few negative run-ins with the neighbor over it. Turns out he wanted to sell. He did sell. I had a lot of stress about who this new person was going to be coming in and thinking, oh, I've got to like arm myself up with this lease agreement and make sure that, you know, there's no room for error and I don't get screwed in this deal. And I just wasn't inspired. I did meet the neighbor and went through all this stuff and this intention to write a lease, and we've agreed on some things verbally. And then I just never felt inspired to write the lease. I was like, this is not the right time. I don't feel good about it. I don't want to do it.
Which you've learned to listen to.
Yeah.
Because there was I wanted to tell this part for listeners to make sure they understand. I mean, you came to a call and it was like, I have to write this lease. I have to meet these people or I'm going to get screwed. Like, what do I do? Like, how do I execute this? How do I, like, it was so in protection mode, right? Versus, you know, we did some coaching. I'm like, what do you want? What do you want from this? And I don't remember what the answer is, but it was for it to be easy and, you know, right. And I'll let you take over and tell us the rest of the story.
Well, yeah. And something you said also really resonated with me during that coaching was you said, if you're going to armor up for a fight, you are manifesting a fight.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, you're right. So I let that go. I didn't say anything to them. Months have gone by and everything's going well. And she's also putting $10,000. 10,000 is already coming up again.
Right?
She's spending $10,000 of her money to redo the volleyball court to a professional grade beach volleyball court.
Which is amazing.
Which is half mine.
Right. Half yours. And isn't she also wanting to like utilize, because your place is on Airbnb, utilize that for some of her friends to come play volleyball and have places to stay?
Yes. Yes. I feel like a very beautiful neighborly relationship developing.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. How does it feel? Because you created that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could have been like, oh, Cassie's wrong, and went and armored up and done that. But you chose to create what you wanted, what you really wanted, right? Not what you thought you had wanted. Because I even remember like a conversation, you're like, well, I called my mom and I had to remind you, like, yeah, and this, you know, she's going to give you the hard advice, because that's her mindset, right?
It is. Yeah. She's fighting a lot of battles all the time.
Yeah.
And it is mindset. I've realized it's not because, you know, one person has better luck than somebody else. What's your frame of mind, and what are you manifesting? What are you creating? What are you thinking about? And even though I haven't been perfect, it still seems to be working out.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where that whole like listening to how I feel about certain things on the to-do list, like writing this lease agreement for the yard. I just didn't want to do it. And I kept procrastinating on it. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I don't feel good about it. I'm not doing it. And it just worked out. And I'm so glad I didn't.
Yay. I'm so glad you didn't either.
Yeah, it would have been a waste of time and a bad use of my energy.
Right. And I think it would have, and you'll get this, like it almost would have created less opportunity, right? Because it would have put those walls around, and we always think like walls are for protection, but they also keep from expanding. Like you know, if there was some agreement, then there might have been some negotiation about the $10,000 investment versus her being like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also saw the opportunity for writing a lease to not only box her in, but box me in.
Right. Yes. Say more about that.
Well, you know, if I had this agreement that, okay, you can do X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah in this time frame, and you can't do X, Y, Z, and all these different rules, I may have unwittingly also prevented myself from having freedom later on if I've got this like in stone agreement with someone.
Right. Oh, yay. Yes. This is one of my favorite stories. And I love that we get to talk about it here, because you sort of just like threw it in on a call. We hadn't talked about it in months because it's not a issue. So it hasn't come up on the call. And then you sort of just like threw in like, oh, she's doing $10,000. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is how this story ended up. I mean, I knew that it would be amazing, but that's even better.
It is
what we were going for that day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm really excited, and it sounds like it's all very easy for me.
Yay. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to figure out the money, and you're getting this nice upgrade.
Oh, yeah. And initially when she was buying the house, it was kind of an investment situation, and she was going to have this other guy move into it who was going to be taking care of the yards. I didn't get a chance to meet this other guy, so I was kind of hesitant about that. But anyway, as the story goes, her and her husband have decided to get a divorce, which, you know, maybe is a good thing for her. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing for me because she decided to move into the house herself. So I know that she's going to take good care of it.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yay. Oh, I love this. And I assume this story is just going to get better and better. So
I think so too.
Yeah.
And she's even talked to me about, we talked about different things to do with the yard, maybe putting some other living quarters back there and seeing if we could partner on doing some of that.
Amazing.
So that's a potential for the future as well.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be so good. It's going to be one of your best stories that continues to give and give and give and give and create more for you.
Yeah, it feels good.
Good. I love that. Well, I know there's some other amazing evidence that you had come up that feels really good and I'm really excited about for you. Would you share that with us?
Are we talking about Mike's bonus?
Oh, well, there's that. We can share that.
Okay.
And then we can talk about Mike and him bringing up your future and where you're going to live.
Yes. Okay. So I'll start with his bonus. He typically would get about $3,000 every Christmas as his bonus. Well, this year he received $10,000 in cash in an envelope.
Yay!
Yes.
That's amazing. In cash in an envelope. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very thick.
So fun.
Yes.
That's amazing. Yay.
And the other thing is that Mike, my wonderful partner, who did not travel much before we went to Greece, now would like to move to Greece together.
Yay.
So we are plotting our, I don't want to say escape, but
yeah,
we're plotting our
new adventure.
For the next probably in about 8 years, that we would like to move to Greece on an island. And it's amazing. Totally doable. Like, I think we could actually do it right now, which is the most insane part.
Yes.
But we're going to wait.
I had a feeling, like, even when you brought that up, I was like, oh, I bet they could actually do it, but it's, when it feels like the inspired moment, they'll go. But I believe that without even knowing any of the details, because the energy was just so, like, we can do this. And what does this look like? And what do we want to do? Yeah,
it's so doable. So doable. And he even bought some language books. So we have been learning a little bit of Greek already.
Hey, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I never thought I would be able to say this, but I can actually read Greek now. Amazing. I don't know what I'm reading, but I understand what sounds the crazy letters make.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
That is so fun. Yeah. And so did you have before, did you want to move to Greece? Has this always been your thing, or did he come up and you were like, yes?
I have always wanted to live in a different country, preferably on a beach.
Yes.
That's always been my dream. I didn't really vocalize that with him ever.
Awesome.
And so he brought it up. And I'm like, okay, I guess that sounds good.
I suppose I'll go.
Yes, but it has been my dream all along. Not necessarily Greece, but now that I've been there and know what's going on there, it's so exciting.
Oh, yay. Yeah. That's so awesome. I'm looking forward to the day that we're managing time zones and doing your interviews from Greece.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's going to be amazing. I know that your future self has been showing up calm over the past few months. Is there any other way that you've really seen her shine through?
Just very trusting.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was practicing some manifesting powers when my dog was in the hospital, and he's okay now. So I kind of feel like I had something to do with that.
Yay, take
maybe
it.
Not, maybe yes, but I'm happy I have the tools to know where to go with that.
Yes. That's amazing. Yeah. I love it. Well, is there anything else you want to make sure to share as we wrap up?
No.
I love it. Do you have any questions that you want to ask me?
Yes, I would like to ask you, how can I draw in more real inspiration, like the good, juicy kind of inspiration that I do want to act on?
Yes, I love this question. I don't know if you're going to love the answer, but I love the question.
I have an inkling of the answer.
The answer is to just keep doing what you're doing, which is saying no to what's not inspired. Because eventually, like, that is leaving so much room for that big inspiration.
Yeah.
And very often, like, the big inspiration, they need lots of room